With Mahi in his arms, Ranvir asked her while stroking her cheek with his thumb, "What did you say down there?" "I am bothering you." Mahi thought to herself, "Oh, so he is angry that I complained to his mother. But this is a good thing. I mean, he is afraid of his mother. So now I don't need to be afraid of him." Thinking this, Mahi smiled. As if she has found a big treasure. Ranvir was noticing all her facial expressions. And he had a complete idea that what was going on in his cute little wife's mind. He put his lips on Mahi's lips and started kissing her. Mahi, who was still busy in her mind, she was shocked to see Ranvir doing this. And she opened her eyes and started looking at Ranvir. Ranvir kissed Mahi and shook her from the wall. And he bit her lips. Then he took Mahi in front of the mirror. He put his head on her shoulder and looked in the mirror and said, "So now you have proof that I bothered you. Now go and complain to my mom." Mahi saw that there was a bite mark on her lip. She looked at Ranvir angrily, who was looking at her with a sad smile. She turned around and put her lips on Ranvir's lips. And she bit his lower lip hard. This time Ranvir was shocked to see Mahi doing this. Because he didn't expect such a reaction from Mahi. He was also surprised because whatever Mahi did, she did it herself. But whatever it was, Ranvir liked it a lot. He saw Mahi, who was still staring at him angrily. Mahi said, "Now I will not complain. I will not complain. I will directly take revenge from you." Huh. Saying this, she left. That's when she thought about what she had done in anger. She slowly turned towards Ranvir. So Ranvir was looking at her with his arms around his chest and smiling. Mahi, with a little courage, quickly said, "You forget what I just did." After saying this, she quickly ran out of the room. Ranvir first laughed at her behavior. Then he controlled his laughter and sat on the sofa and said, "Forget it." "Really? This is not something to forget, my love. I will always remember this act of yours." So it hurt. Mahi was about to fall while running. When Vedant came in front of her, he caught her. And he said to her standing straight, "What are you doing, Mahi? What if you had fallen now? Why are you running like this?" Mahi said quickly while laughing, "No, nothing. I was going downstairs to my grandmother. She asked me to come to her room." After saying this, Mahi asked him, "Okay, can I go now?" After thinking for a while, Vedant said, Go." Then after thinking for a while, he said, "Mahi, listen." After hearing this, Mahi, who was about to leave, stopped and started looking at Vedant. Vedant said while cleaning his throat, He is your friend, right? What is his name?" Then he said while pretending to think, "Yes, I remembered. Priya, can you give me his number?" Mahi asked Vedant in confusion, "Why? Did he do something?" Vedant said while making an excuse quickly, No, he didn't do anything. I have to return some of his things. That's why I need his number." Mahi said, "Oh, really? I will give you his number right now." Then he remembered something. "Oh, my phone is in my room. I will give you the number later." Then Ranvir said from behind, "Here is your phone." Ranvir, who was going towards his study room, caught Mahi's phone. Then he came close to her ear and said slowly, "Tonight I will definitely take revenge for this. My wild cat." After saying this, he went ahead. Ranvir was just moving forward when Vedant called out to him, "Ranvir, 1 minute, I have to talk to you alone." Ranvir put his hands in his pocket and turned towards him and asked with one eyebrow, "To me?" Vedant said, "Yes, but alone, it is important." Ranvir said, "Okay, I am in the study room, let's talk there." After saying this, he left, and Vedant came back to Mahi. Mahi was still standing with her shocking reaction. With Vedant's voice, she came back to her senses. Because Vedant was looking at his phone and was asking him to give the number. Mahi quickly gave him Priya's number and left from there. Vedant went towards the study room. Ranvir was smoking near a large glass window of the study room. As soon as he entered Vedant, he turned around and said while sitting on his chair, "Tell me, what did you want to say?" Vedant looked at Ranvir and sat on the chair in front of him. Then he started thinking while turning the paperweight. Ranvir, who was waiting for him to say something, got irritated and said, "Will you say something now? What important thing did you have to say?" Vedant said, "Vikram Chauhan." After hearing the name Vikram Chauhan, Ranvir got shocked and started looking at Vedant. And then he asked him while looking at him, "How do you know him? And what did you have to say about him?" Vedant said, "Why do I feel like you know him too?" After hearing Vedant's words, Ranvir's expression became dark. He again said while smoking another cigarette, "You tell me, what did you have to say about him?" Vedant started talking with a deep breath. "A few days ago, I had gone to Rajasthan for work, where I met Vikram Chauhan at a party. It was a secret party, which included many illegal workers. Actually, Vikram Chauhan was drunk and bumped into me. Because of which, his envelope which was in his hand, fell on the floor. In which there were photographs of many girls. And there was also a photo of Mahi in it. As far as I know about him, he is involved in the purchase and sale of girls." After hearing Vedant's words, Ranvir's fists tightened with anger. He said while grinding his teeth, "This is all done by that Khanna." "Rascal!" Vedant asked Ranvir with confusion, "Khanna? What does Khanna have to do with Vikram Chauhan? And Mahi?" After hearing Vedant's words, Ranvir told him everything. After hearing this, Vedant's face also became angry. He said, "This means that Vikram Chauhan is now after Mahi." Vedant said while taking a deep breath, "By the way, I had put some of my men behind him since then. I have got information that he has come to Indore at this time." Ranvir stood up from the chair, went back to the glass window and stood up. And while looking outside, he said, "Why are you doing all this for me?" When Vedant heard him, he also put his hand in his pocket, came close to him and stood up. And while looking outside, he said, "Not for you, for Mahi." After hearing Vedant's words, Ranvir looked at him with piercing eyes. Vedant smiled and said, "Yes, she is my friend. So, I can do this much for her." Ranvir said, "When did she become your friend?" Vedant laughed and said, "Before your marriage." "Why? Are you jealous?" Ranvir said, "Why would I be jealous? As it is, she is my wife now. And if she is happy to be friends with you, then what problem can I have?" For the past few days, the distance between Vedant and Ranvir had reduced to some extent. And Ranvir had understood that Vedant had no wrong intentions. Vedant then looked at Ranvir and said with one eyebrow, "And if anyone tries to hurt my cute friend, then I will not leave him, even if it is you." At Vedant's words, Ranvir stared at him. Then Vedant changed his words and said, "We will have to take care of Mahi's safety." Ranvir said, Ranvir then looked outside and was in deep thought. Here, in the afternoon, Priya was sitting on her bed in her room and listening to songs in her headphones. At this time, she was in a very relaxed mood. Then she got a call from an unknown number on her phone. Priya unwillingly attended the call, then after listening to the other side, she said angrily, "How did you get my number?" She said with a big attitude, "It's not a big deal for me to know your number." On the other side was Vedant. Priya shouted and said, "Why did you call?" Vedant said, "You will have to meet me in the cafe at 5 p.m. today." Priya was a little shocked to hear the sudden meeting and said, "What? Why would I come to meet you?" Vedant said, "Now see, are you coming or should I come to your house to pick you up?" Vedant said this to her indirectly. After hearing this, Priya said to herself, "If he comes to my house and my mother thinks he is my boyfriend, then my mother will beat me in the whole house." Priya had also imagined all this in her mind. She said all this while thinking and shouting loudly, "No." On the other hand, Vedant removed the phone from his ear and put his finger on his ear. Then he put the phone back to his ear and said, why are you shouting? You have moved the curtains of your ear. Priya threatened him and said, don't you dare come to my house. You don't know my mother. She will beat me and make mincemeat out of me. Vedant also teased her and said, is that so? Then I am coming right now. Anyway, I really want to eat mincemeat. Priya said in a hurry, no, you can't come here. I am coming. I am coming, tell me where do you want to come? Vedant said with a sad smile, now I am on the line. Vedant told him the address and disconnected the phone. Here in Kapoor mansion, Mahi was sitting in Grandma's room and Grandma was explaining some things to her. Grandma said, Mahi dear, never consider yourself a stranger in this house. Even the daughters-in-law of our house have the same love and rights that are given to our daughters. And dear, if you have any problem, tell us without any hesitation. Then Grandma gave her a pile dress and said, this is my wedding pile. Wear it in front of me right now. Mahi was finding that pile very beautiful. Pile was a little heavy because it had a lot of anklets which made the sound of chan chan. Mahi was happy and said, really Grandma, should I wear this? Seeing the happiness on her face, Grandma said, yes my child, this is for you. Hearing this, Mahi quickly wore the pile and started moving her feet to hear her voice. Seeing Mahi's childhood, Grandma's face was filled with a smile. Grandma said lovingly, dear, wear this for a few days because the pile looks very beautiful. Hearing Grandma's words, Mahi nodded her head in agreement. Then Anita ji came there. Behind her, a maid was holding some bags in her hand. Anita ji said to Mahi smilingly, Mahi dear, this is a sari and some jewelry for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have to go to your mother's house for the ritual of Pakferi. So get ready early tomorrow. Then Anita ji told the maid to keep all the things in Ranvir's room and sent Mahi to rest in her room. At 5 in the evening, Vedant was waiting for Priya in a private room of a cafe. He was also watching something on his phone. When Priya came to the room, Vedant looked at her. In front of her, Priya was wearing a white kurti and blue jeans and was staring at Vedant angrily. Seeing Priya like this, Vedant's lips smiled. He pointed at her to sit in front of him. Priya, showing her full attitude, sat on the chair in front of him and said, why have you called me here? After hearing this, Vedant also said angrily, I had to settle the score, so for Mahi's protection, will Ranbir and Vedant forget their enmity? After all, why has Vedant called Priya? How will Vedant settle his score? To know more, keep listening to Oh Baby only on Love Pulse Diaries.